It has to resonate with our existing product lines. It has to complement it, right? And also, business-wise, it has to have some demand from the industry. So, this is where I studied, Delhi University. So from Bangladesh, I moved to India to study. I did my management as well. I majored with physics. And this is where I have been living for the last 2 decades. You possibly know this place. Anyone? Oh, here we go. There we go. So we have one guy. The rest of you must visit this place. This is Dubai. This is brand new city. You buy brand new cars, you go brand new houses. This is brand new city. You walk in anywhere, shiny. So from silica, which is sand, turns to gold. This is what the city talks about. Everything they do is innovative. This is the tallest tower in the world. Oh my God. It's an engineering marvel, right? You must visit. You'll understand what technology is, right? Building structure on a sand and built it, I think 874 meters, right? It's crazy. It's just crazy. So, coming back to what we do, we innovate products, we bring in products, we solve customer challenges, problems, we understand their needs. We call voice of customers. When we look at products and solutions, we go back to our customers. We talk to them. What do you need us to look at you? What's your pain points? What's your challenges? We try and incorporate into our design, into our product. So if you look at our solutions revolves around those needs, those challenges, right? The first and foremost, what comes out, everybody talks about, I want a better quality product. So, and yeah, I mean, we have been doing that since ages, right? That's our inherent quality. They want to look at, the services. The second most expectations came up was services. You bring in product, if you don't implement it well, that's the product's going to fail. If you don't service well. So you need to ensure that the services are delivered at the right doorstep of customers, In terms of the UPS product, I just want to touch base. You look at quality is certainly one. Second is the battery lifetime. So UPS is supposed to give you runtime, uninterrupted power supply. Why do you use UPS? Typically for 3 reasons. If the main supply goes off, I need to have my equipment running. I need to have power, right? Now, the battery runtime is very, very important. So the lifetime of the battery is critical. We need to understand, can we have predictability? Can we understand if my battery is going down or not, right? What's the lifetime of that? And in terms of the security, in terms of the manageability and so on. So all our solutions in a holistic point of view, we look at one Windows solution. Can you give you a simplicity? Can you make your life, a little bit more simpler? You have a lot of other challenges, right? We don't want to make it a little more difficult for you. So we try and create, if you look at on the right side, this is our smart zone cabinets. So if you look at data centers, some of you know, people want 1 or 2 cabinets. They want to have, copper cabling, fiber cabling. They want to have UPS there. They want to have PDU there. They want to have sensors. They want to make sure that they can monitor the environment. Is the temperature in the room okay or not? Is the humidity correct or not, right? So we can create one, single part number for all the equipment. So we can create there, or we can build their equipment in a way that it's one part number, ordering, you have multi-locations, boom, right? So our objective is to ensure that we build those infrastructures flexible. These are long-term investments protected, so that if you invest today, your money is safe. You don't have to literally, like my country, right, change the infrastructures. It's difficult to do it, right? So that's our objective, to ensure that we give you little simplicity, make your life a little easier and simpler, right? Let me go back to the one topic which I'm here to talk about, which is UPS, right? Uninterrupted power supplies. Now, if you know UPS, there are three versions of UPS that typically have industry has. There's an offline, a line interactive, and an online. Online typically is a double convergence UPS. Line interactive, if you go higher kVA UPS, we don't use line interactive. We always use double conversions online UPS. Now, line interactive, we use it primarily some Asia Pac countries for smaller requirement, below I think 3 kVA. In North America, we will use some line interactive. And the main difference between these two is, if you look at the inverter on the inverter is supposed to convert the power from DC to AC and then supplies it to the output, to the critical load connected to the UPS. So in case of the main supplies goes off, then the inverter kicks in. So there is a transfer, so-called delay of 2 to 4 milliseconds. So that's the line interactive. So what you do is you save little money, right? And it's not always on, right? You don't have to convert it, okay? So our first launch is about 1 to 20 kVA, and you know, we are not launching everything at one go. It's baby steps. You know, we are not new to the power industry, by the way. We had power distributions unit launched at about, I think, 6-7 years back. We had tremendous growth in that. This is complementing, right? One thing which was missing was the UPS in the cabinet, right? So it's about 1 to 20 kVA and 42 SKUs for the time being, 1 to 3 kVA. VRLA is typically the batteries, the latest batteries. Is called valve regulated. Some people call it sealed maintenance-free batteries. Earlier days, I don't know, you guys have seen in my countries, we used to have batteries that we used to put, you know, acid water every 2-3 months. So those days are gone, right? So you just connect it up and running and going. We have lithium-ion based UPS. This is a growing segment. What is lithium-ion? You have your mobile phones, you have electric cars, those are lithium-ion based. It's expensive. If you have to use it in the UPS, somebody has to give a lot of premium, right? So it's a question, it's actually a little bitter pill to swallow for a lot of IT managers or CIOs, because the finance guy has to see whether does it make sense to give, it's 3 times the cost of the lead-acid batteries. Then you have 5 to 10 kVA, single phase VRLA, and then you have 10, 20 kVA, 3-phase also. Anything you go above, possibly you might see a single phase and 3-phase options, because you need to centralize few of the power supplies, right? We have extended batteries as well, because if you want UPS typically comes with the inbuilt battery, right? And it can give you, let's say, about 5 minutes of critical runtime. So if you want to have more, then you add up extra battery bandwidth, okay? So that's why you need to have an options for this. Somebody wants 20 minutes, right? Because he might not have an alternate power source like generators, right? So he needs a little more time to switch off his critical loads. So that's right. So those options are available. UPS accessories. If you look at edge data centers, why do you have built into the accessories? Primarily because we can monitor those environments. You don't have to literally depend on any third-party products, right? So bring in all the sensors, temperature, humidity, the door contacts. If the door is open, the cabinet door is open, I should be able to know that somebody opened the door. Okay, so a little bit of more security is also in there. In terms of the features, since we talk to various customers, and the voice of customers we incorporate through our R&D team, and then they try and build products with a lot of features in it. So I can go and talk about it on and on. But on a high level, if you look at the UPS, the first and foremost is your pure sine wave, which is the double conversions in online UPSs. Typically, we want a pure sine wave at the output. And in a lot of places, if somebody's from North America, they would know California, from the grid, the supply is not very regular. It's irregular supplies. You might have a little spike, you might have voltage fluctuations, which is not good for servers and some critical equipment. So you need to ensure that the UPS actually takes care of that. And sometimes the frequency, transient frequencies comes in and can create some issues, right? So that's called the dirty part. So this UPS is supposed to make sure that the power and the output is pure sine wave. You look at that energy star, this is energy star is coming from EPA, it's like an environmental protection agency run by Department of Energy in the US. So it's a program where you certify products and they start certifying buildings as well, which complies to a lot of energy, so-called sustainability energy compliance things. So that's how you get the stars. Our products are typically energy stars. So not very many products are actually energy star compliant. We have an eco mode. Eco mode is typically when you have an input power coming and then you don't utilize those double conversions, you actually take it to the output with some spikes and surge protectors. So you save a bit of an energy cost there, or you use a little bit less energy. So that's the eco mode. We have the wide input voltage. Why did we do that? If you have a single phase, three phase, if there is a spike or if there is a voltage fluctuations in the input, if you don't have a circuitry which can manage that, so-called little variations, then it will hit your equipment. The UPS possibly is not working well. So we have kept that wide input voltage so that it takes care of any fluctuations there. We have the intelligent battery management. It's one of the most critical component in the whole design, because battery is it's like a heart for human beings. The battery is actually the main component in the UPS. So we need to ensure that we have clarity, we have better management. So we build the software accordingly. So we should have a little bit of more predictability in the battery. And the battery life depends on various factors. The temperatures in the room, the humidity. So you need to make sure that we have visibility on that. Okay. Lithium-ion batteries. Just to give a little more onto that. So this is 5 times the energy density, and it takes 1/3 of the space. But this is 20% of the market. But this is almost like, 3 times the lifespan. So normally, lead-acid batteries are, if it runs in a very idle environment, it can run up to 3 to 5 years, right? If the lifespan is, if the environment is not conducive, it might reduce it about 2 to 3 years, right? Whereas the lithium-ion can go up to 7 to 10 years. So imagine you built an environment, you built an infrastructure, and you don't want to touch your UPS, right? But the cost is almost 3 times. So it's a question of the capex versus so-called lifetime of the equipment. And some of the finance company or the finance managers or the CFOs also depreciate the IT assets. I don't know, a lot of companies actually depreciate the IT assets. So every 3 years, the assets value goes down, almost zero in the book, right? So it's like a little bit of tricky areas for a lot of IT managers to look at it. But if somebody is okay to invest a little bit more and don't want to touch it for 6, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, possibly lithium. And it's picking up slowly. The market is picking up, so we kept that options, right? 5 to 20 kVA, more or less the same features, right? The only difference is 5 to 20 kVA. We have 3-phase options available on that, and they're a little different because the 10, 20 kVA, you have a hardware coming in. It's not a plug and play. Okay, so let's move on to a little bit on the product family. So this is 1 to 3 kVA, 230 volt lead acid batteries. This is the EMEA version, right? This is online double conversions topology. You have an options for external battery pack, and you have the options for IEC and then TUB certified outlet. So typically we use in EMEA C13, C19, C20 sockets. Now, if you look at North America, we have 120 volt single phase. So we have to do a little bit of tweak in the circuitry so that it can accommodate 120 volt, right? That's the North America options. The similar online double conversions one, external battery packs. And the US has a NEMA and the product has to be UL certified. Okay. And then we have the options for lithium ion. If anybody wants to look at, that's also the online topology based. Now, line interactive 1 to 3 kVA, that's the one which we use it in North America. As I said, that this is a little bit cheaper in cost, and also it's not a double conversion, so you have a little bit of delay if the main power supplies goes off till the time the inverter kicks in. So there are two components here also. I'll talk about a little more, the rectifier inverter. In our countries, we have a lot of power cuts because we don't have enough power supplies, right? So we call it as the load shedding. If the whole city has a capacity of 500 megawatts, the main grids are supplying, let's say, 400 megawatts. 100 megawatts is the supplies which they have to cut it periodically. So some of the time, my city, my area, we used to have a power cut for about an hour, 2 hours, right? Which is very unlikely. You don't see it in Europe and the US, okay? Any questions, feel free. You don't have to wait for the last moment. If it is interactive, I'm okay with that, provided we are pretty much. Yes, please.